everyone. It is our Saturday time, and we get together for a little longer than our Tuesday. Normally, every Tuesday, I have 30 minutes webinar, and we talk about things that is showing up in our practice. Then Saturday is where we want to introducing concept and really load you with knowledge that is very critical and necessary. Here we talk about this tax audit and financial statement audit because folks are not really understanding audit the way it should be understood. And especially in the environment like this, I want to say that the business environment we have today here in United States of America is not good for small businesses. And when I say not good, I am saying that the environment is worse than before, and it could get worse continually. So to know that the environment you are in, it is important for us to understand what could come upon you and what would trigger you to get into the trouble, right? So to understand whether they're the same thing or not, it become a topic that I'd like to spend today's time to explain that to you. All right, before we get into our webinars, we always introduce to you of our firm. And in your, every business, big or small, you need to give your finance matters. You need to give your trust and your reliance to some professional firms. You may be able to do a lot of things on your own because you are small businesses and you actually know how to do Excel spreadsheet. So wonderful, and you do that. But still, you want back in your mind to know that if I am getting immigration rates, who do I go to? If I get financial statement audit, who do I go to? If IRS just knocking my door, who do I go to? You want to get that kind of level of understanding inside of you, even though you don't know community CPA, you have never worked with us, but if you just know our name, when you get into that kind of trouble and that name will pop into your head, you know to pick up the phone to call us. And here at our firm, we operate 6 days a week. We're talking about Monday to Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30. Every time, anytime you call, someone will pick up the call and we will answer your question. If that is 1 second we can resolve for you, we do that. We don't drag you, and we want efficiency. We want our folks who come to us to get solution. So here, this is our website. And on our website, you can see on the top, these are functional buttons: on board with us, an appointment, pay our invoice, client portal, your private portal, and a payroll portal if you just run payroll with us, right? So with that, and you kind of know if you're not our client, but you're kind of wanting to be our client, you can go on board with us to upload your document and talk to us first to see whether that is something you want to do. Then of course, our knowledge is free, and we give knowledge out to you for free. You can, subscribe to YouTube channel, Community CPA, find us and click subscribe button. Then you will be receiving our notification whenever we talk about something. This slide is about our firm. We have more than 12,000 clients, just want to impress you. So we have a little economy around ourselves, right? So if you just have 100 clients, you got nobody getting audited, you probably sitting there goes, oh yeah, nobody gets audited, the world is great. But when you have so many more clients in so many states, you start seeing pictures. So we are seeing pictures. So we are talking to you for good reason. We just want you to know. I wrote 2 books. I'm writing the 3rd one, and 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. So follow me and know that what I'm doing, and read my books. I mean, the 8 a.m. was done in 2019. 10 a.m. was done in 2023. Each one of them mark a real difference in life. And I can't even tell you that how fast business life changed, in my 20, 30 years. So I think it will be evolving faster and faster going forward. So the books is hardly catch up on what's going on, but like to see that in history because they are history. Those books give you the history information of how my realization is, who do I admire, and then what my advice was. No responsibility disclaimer. It's a free webinar, and you want to take our words, study. You don't have to listen to what I say. You can absolutely against what I say, but it's your responsibility to take action, right? If you like to hear what I say, you come back all the time and you implement what I told you. So what are the most common audit? Is audit equal to investigation? Is investigation equal to location search rates? Does that equal? They don't. They're not. But audit can trigger a lot more things. So a small audit can trigger you being immigration rates, can trigger you to go to jail, can trigger you to be penalized for a huge amount of money you don't have. And we have seen it happening. We have seen it happen before. So it is nothing abnormal. This is the environment we are in. So the first one I listed this by the frequency happens in the universe. The frequency we see in the universe. Employment tax audit, that is the most frequent one right now. And this is where your payroll record is being reviewed. And whether you're paying people right, whether you're classifying people in between employees or contractors, whether you classify them right is being brought into question. And both federal government and the state agencies can audit you. And at the federal level, other than IRS, that is Department of Labor, DOL, can audit you. It is all circling around payroll, right? And of course, the IRS can reclassify you, saying that John Smith should be, employee, not contractor. Then you get a whole bunch of Social Security, Medicare taxes, and withholding penalties, and all of that. And the DOL, Department of Labor, Fair Labor Act, they want to make sure you're paying your worker properly. Income tax audit can be carried out by both federal and the state to make sure that you're paying your income tax properly, correctly. And for the state, they can also audit you for sales use tax. So people ask, what is use tax? You buy things from other sources and you didn't pay use tax. You use it in your business. You bought dishes for your restaurant, but you did not pay sales tax. When you bought it, that is your use tax you need to pay. Okay? Financial statement audit typically are carried out by stakeholders and board of directors requirement, or if you're a public company, it is required by SEC. So that's another agency the federal government controls. So those are the audit. Those are the compliance tools the country has on businesses. So if you say, oh, Ying, I'm not big, I'm really small. It's just me, my husband, and one employee. I have a small business, so these audits don't apply to me. No, it applies to you. The only one don't apply to you really is the financial statement audit. Because SEC, you're not a public company, they don't care, and your stakeholder is yourself. You don't ask yourself to be audited, and you don't be audited. The rest of it, you are subject to the audit. And let me tell you this, the government really enjoy to audit small businesses because you're the low-hanging fruits. You're easy. You can be attacked and don't know how to get back. And you can be bullied and you just take it. And we literally have clients. We have to convince them that you cannot be bullied. You didn't do it wrong. Don't pay it. But what do? Oh, we want to pay it because we're too scared, cannot sleep. We're just going to pay it so we'll be okay. Is that really the truth? No. You pay it, then the other agency comes in. Yeah, you paid $40,000, but at the end of the next 3 years, you'll probably be audited 3-4 more times, and you probably ended up just declare bankruptcy. So if you're not doing it wrong, there's no reason to allow bullying to happen, even though we have the biggest bully in the White House, but you still do not need to fold under that. And there is still rule and regulations to safeguard that boundaries, although blurred by a lot, but still there. So if you can find professionals and companies that can stand in ground for you and understand your right and believing your trust, you are doing the right things and can fight for you, that's the ultimate. And I want to say that our firm is that, and we believe in truth. There is black and white in real sense when it comes to audit. You're right or you're wrong, or you're either wrong or you're right. So if it is in the gray area, that can be debated. So there's no such thing about, you always is at fault and the government is always right. No, not true. Sometimes they have the work they do, they don't understand your business, so they cannot speak for you. Whatever they come up is not the final result. So employment tax audit, payroll tax audit is the first one I want to go through. So this is the most audited area, and it is a place where several government are kind of let me see this one. The several government are already connected with each other to feed information. So, for example, if you get audited by IRS and reclassify your worker from subcontractor to employee, then IRS could submit the information to DOL because the amount you pay was not meeting the Fair Labor Act. You probably not paying overtime because you are paying them as a contractor. So as a result, you didn't really have overtime paid to these workers. So that could goes to DOL to get audited and to make you pay the amount back to your contractor because they now your employee. Then that could also further be referred to immigration ICE because they discovered, the Department of Labor discovered you also pay cash to some people. They don't have work permit for whatever reason. You didn't fill up I-9, you didn't have W-4, so they will be referring them and you could get immigration raids. So when they come into your company, you stop working and you identify each worker to see who has status, who are not. The one without status working illegally with you, and if you provide housing to them and you are harboring illegal immigrant, which is criminal charge subject to 10-year prison sentence. So all of these audit related to payroll is actually bringing much greater consequences to you. So I want small business owners just to wake up. You may say that, Ying, don't worry. I have been doing that for the last 20 years. It's not a problem. I am sorry. And the Trump administration doesn't do what last 20 years was done. They are doing something different. And you like it or not, this administration is elected by American people. So people want them. What they do is what people want. Just remember that. So if you're at odds with what people want, you know you need to change, right? So what we are here to give you is the knowledge. We tell you that you need to do it right. And you cannot hire people without document. And that sentence cannot be more clear than what I just said. And you need to look at your operation and finding resources and finding solutions, but you need to be in compliance with government requirement. Triggers for payroll audit. The most common trigger in the past is disgruntled worker. So your employee, which you felt like you treat them like your child, but they sitting there don't feel the same way. They feel exploited, they feel being underpaid, they feel that you're making too much, whatever happened, so they report you. That's the most common way for the companies to be triggered for this kind of audit. Of course, if you do have a situation where you look at this employee, not sure whether it should be employee or subcontractor, I want to introduce to you a form called SS8. So that form, if you fill it up, IRS would give you a determination. Wouldn't that be great? So, in this kind of situation, we want you to rely on government resources. So you file SS8 to figure out whether you're doing it right or wrong. At the same time, understand what the rules are from IRS. IRS said that you want to hire people to work, we understand, but you need to treat people correctly. Are they your employee or they're your subcontractor? If they are your subcontractor, and tell us what they do. There's a 20 checkpoint for IRS to look to see whether these are your employee or is your subcontractor. So here, the IRS 20 factors are grouped into 3 areas. Number 1, behavior control and financial control and relationship of parties. So those 3 are the control point IRS wanting to determine. And the slice is a little small, but it gives you the 20 points. You see this one? Behavior control had 10 of them. And then financial control has 6 of them. Then the other 4 is relationship control. So in these slides, this is our IRS stuff, folks. It's not me and giving you genius input. I'm just giving you what's out there already. So IRS said, if you don't have these control as an employer, that person is your subcontractor. You don't need to run them on payroll. You can pay them on 1099. You don't have responsibilities. So that is also important for you to know. And if you don't quite remember, if I didn't give you enough time for you to take a screenshot, and you can always email Catherine at communitycpa.com. Just ask her, hey, I remember seeing the 20 controls. Can you give me the list of controls? We'll send you we'll send you this PowerPoint so you have it all, right? Prevention against payroll audit. For all businesses, someone should be working as an employee. You cannot have a business goes, there's no employee. The money just fell from the sky. Yes, there are that kind of business, like maybe is your royalty payment went into a LLC, nobody works and just fall from the sky. And then, but majority of the business, if you're creating burgers or you're filing tax returns or whatever you do, you're working, and then someone has to be the employee. So to not have an employee, not have payroll in your business, that look odd. But when you have employee, you must have I-9 and W-4. So if you're not sure what is I-9, what is W-2, what is W-4, and I want you to search our videos, we have videos to teach you how to do I-9, how to do W-4. I will tell you, this is so important. If you got immigration raid to your company, and all of the workers, they stop working, line up on the roll, and you need to produce I-9, W-4 right on the spot. You cannot say that, my I-9, W-4 is with Community CPA. They're far away, so I don't have it for you. No, we have it, absolutely, if you're our client, because we will make sure you have it. But you, at your work location, you also need to have the original. That is how important that is. You must have it, okay? For hires, they must be employee if their skill is in line with your business. For example, if you're a roofer and your subcontractor is also a roofer, and that subcontractor should be your employee because your main business is roofing, so everybody who works for you should be your employee. This is one of the key things we saw in a lot of audit. When the auditors was arguing, this came into play. But of course, the situation is, if your subcontractor not only have general business liability, workers' comp insurance, they also have their name card. They also work with other businesses as a roofer. If you can prove all of that, no problem. You can sleep soundly, and you just give that information to the auditor if you happen to be audited. Okay, and you must have all your contractors present to you his or her business registration, insurance, and you also have to keep in your file the signed contract. And they must fill up a W-9. So these are the things, right? If it is your employee, you need to have I-9 and a W-4. If it is your contractor, you need to have W-9 and a signed contract. But on the contract, you need to identify these 20 points I was talking about it early to make your contract so solid. It is a subcontractor. So the government don't have any question for you. All right, DOL audit. That's another audit we talk about. We just finished talking about classification audit by IRS or workforce, all of these employment-related audit. Now we're talking about DOL. So what is the common trigger for DOL? Reported by whistleblowers or your employees, okay? And, discontent employees who are not happy. They're too scared to tell you that they're so underpaid, so they're calling DOL. And I am, every time I talk about this, I have people complain that I was painting whistleblowers in such a negative way. And don't forget, I am talking to my small business owners, all right? So from human emotion standpoint, if I am talking about small business owners, the one who are discontent, reporting the owners to the government, they are whistleblowers that business owner do not like. So negative, of course, But of course, there's also law firms representing only the whistleblowers. So, you'll find justice in the society. Some people work for this group of people, other people work for that group of people. And here at Community CPA, we work for business owners. No doubt about it. And no wishy-washy. It's very clear. If you are a business owner, we work for you, with you, and we fight for you. All right? DOL target employers in low wages industry like restaurant, daycares, manufacturing, agriculture. So they're targeting those industry because it has tendency that the employer not paying employee enough, right? So those are common areas plus triggers. So example of what the DOL is looking to find. Number one, failure to maintain records of overtime payment to non-exempt employees. Salaried employees are classified as exempt from overtime. These are not real salary employee. Your chef, your cook in the kitchen is not a salaried employee. You cannot pay the people who are cooking in the back of the kitchen salaried employee. Wrong. WRONG. Do you understand that English word is wrong? So if you are doing that, change it. There's no debate about it, right? And change it for your sake. You don't want to get into problems. When you get into the problem, not only you spending money to hire people to defend you, and at the end, you still end up losing a lot because it is simply wrong. You don't want to do it wrong. You may say that, other people doing that. If I do it right, I won't have a business because everybody else is doing it wrong. Everybody else is doing it wrong doesn't give you a reason to do it wrong. Right? Everybody else is lying. And do you want to also lie? I would not be able to sleep if I lie day in, day out. I won't even remember what I lied. So how am I going to maintain, did you find the big figures on the internet and the lies and I forgot about what he lied about? That happens when you lie too many times and too often or become perpetual habit. And so you just don't want to. And you want to just live a simple life. If other people doing it wrong, you do it right. If you do it right and your business cannot success, that's because you don't have a good business model. That is where you should hire people to look at your business, give you advice how to run that business successfully so you are doing it right and make money. Are their business doing it right and make money? Of course. Of course. Make a lot of money doing it right. It is possible, folks. Okay? For our small business owners, I'll tell you it is possible. If you don't believe it is possible, you come to see me. I'll tell you how possible that is. Unlawful deduction against employee from their wages. Deducting their rent, boy, you are renting place to them, you deduct the rent from their wages, unlawful. Deducting the car expenses because you drive them around, unlawful. Deducting uniform cost out of your employee, unlawful. Deducting what? Oh, because he come in late, I don't like it, let's just charge them something unlawful. So you can't. All right? Insufficient tips that fail to meet employer's obligation. The tip is so little, the waiters and waitress didn't make enough money, didn't make the minimum wage. Inaccurate wage payment to immigrant workers and the minors. Oh, just because they don't have a document, so you can pay them little? Don't even get there. Number one, you don't pay anybody little. It doesn't matter their legal status. They work for you, you pay them the same. You pay them lawful wages. But on top of that, you should not hire anyone without status, without work permit. If you say, well, Ying, if you say that, I don't have a business. Really? I don't think so. I think you need to change your business methodology, relook at this with a mindset, yes, I can do it. I can do it right. And let's go ask how to do it right. Have you done that? If you haven't, it is time. Non-documented worker and report them to ICE, resulting in immigration raid on businesses. Okay, rumor mill. The rumor mill says that, I don't know if it's true or not because I haven't really find the solid backing for it. If a non-documented person reporting the employer for hiring him to work in the business, that person will give legal status, the employer will go to jail. How do you like this government agency rules that is going to come through the pipeline? What do you think? A little shocked? That is coming, in my opinion. How to prevent a DOL audit? To be successful in business, you have no choice but to know the rules and regulations. It is very likely that your employee is the one who is unhappy and reported you. You cannot prevent employee from reporting you. Just forget about it. So the only safeguard for business owners, small business owners, for you is to not do it wrong. Did you get me? There's no need to do it wrong. Just know that. All right? And be sure to keep your record. If you got an employee telling you that, oh, you have to pay me cash because I don't have a bank account, I cannot take your check, I don't know where to cash it out because I don't have a bank account, so you ended up paying cash to that person, you need to have a record. That person need to acknowledge what they got, and you need to calculate why you're paying this cash, so you need to show all the withholding deductions and everything else. You need to have a record. Work with your payroll company to conduct a payroll compliance review. We, as a firm, we are telling the world, do payroll compliance review right now. Do it right now. And do it with trusted CPA firms that you can lay out what you have them find solution for you. I am pretty sure there are situations you are like so secret about and don't want to talk about. You kind of know you're doing it wrong, but you just don't know whether you can say anything about it. Find someone you can trust. You don't know us? Talk to us and try your water. See whether this is the place that you can, come to get your payroll straightened up. And we're so good at getting people to the right place. And we don't place judgment. Remember, we're not IRS. We're also not lawyers, even though we have lawyers, but I'm not lawyers. And we're also not auditors. We're not government agencies, so Dodge cannot fire us, that kind of thing. So we're really just here for you. We can tell you what to do, and we can give you the solutions that you thought you have never ever thought about. You have a way to do it right. I will say that a million times. You have ways to do everything correctly. Income tax audit. What is income tax audit? This is federal and state, right? Income tax audit, which is to audit you income and expense and audit your profit, see whether you paid enough income tax. So people know this by, a lot of people know about it. So for the income tax audit, it can come from federal, can come from state, right? So it's just two levels of a government are charging the income tax. Of course, some cities and districts also charge, but largely income tax audit is coming from federal and the state. If you get audited by the federal, the state will react to the result. If federal charging more taxes, the state will follow. So you will get another notice. The state will change their tax assessment as well. You will owe the state. But if the state get audited, my experience, my last 29 years old experience tells me that the state do not normally regurgitating that into the federal. So it's not really going backwards to the federal. So I want to just say that to you so you know when federal government come to audit, you got the state to ask for money too. But for the state to get audit you, not often. I have not seen any go back to the federal government to have federal government change their taxes as well. And the type of tax audit, there are three general type. Other than criminal investigation, that's a different category. It's not even audit anymore, right? Criminal investigation are the one they come in to raid you, then they do audit on you and you're under investigation. Audit is limited to 3 years. So it is 3-year period audit. They sometimes audit for 1 year, then they expand to 3 years, but they will never go for 30 years. They will never go for 10 years. If you are subjecting examination for 10 years, you are under criminal investigation, not regular audit. A regular audit has a mail audit, an office audit, and a field audit. So the mail audit is just a letter. It's a letter saying that, hey, we are reviewing your taxes, and we think that this category is off. Can you prove that you did donate $1 million? So then you just send in proofs for that. Office audit is the compliance office in the local area of IRS building. They send you a letter, say, hey, 8 o'clock in the morning, can you come on this day? And we selected your return for audit, right? So you need to bring all your things to the auditor. So, of course, when you bring things to the auditor, you want to organize that already. Don't bring your shoebox to the auditor. They really don't have time. After we cut so many agencies, at the federal level, I think our federal employees are worried about their job every day because they don't know when, the Dodge will show up, and who knows what they're gonna cut. So it's not stable right now as we speak. Hopefully, giving time, things will get more stable. I really don't know what to expect because you are just like me, and we just hear, the White House changes their decisions, changes their approaches, changes their tone of voices so often. It's hard to predict. It just might as well just forget about predicting and just wait for the final result to come, or wait for the waves so that you know what to do. Field audit, the auditors will actually show up at your place. If your business address was your home, that's where they're gonna show up. So I would always say that if you have a business on your tax return, you really want to make sure you put a business address, not your home, because it affects a lot of things. Other than if you get audited, the auditors are actually coming to your home. And also, because you're putting in the address that is not your real business address, so your other local tax or your sales tax could be all wrong. Because you might be living in the place, the sales tax is 6%, but your business place, the sales tax is 7%. So if you give the wrong address, a lot of things can be wrong. And I'm talking from my experience. People don't put their business address on their return, and because they say that, the mail is going to go to the wrong place, and I cannot, I don't want my employee to see my mails. Oh, well. And you still want to make sure that, and you have your business address as a place of business. Otherwise, all your other tax elements going to be wrong, right? So field audit, they're going to knock your door, come to your house if you put your house as your business address. Common trigger for income tax audit, of course, the IRS has developed a significant system. So the system actually, when you submit your income tax to the IRS, they're matching. and when it's not matching, you got ringed out. And if it is too significant, you got a letter, you got audit. So you want to make sure that you report what you report to IRS matches to what IRS has on you. And also on your financial statement, you want to do analysis on higher, lower comparison to understand your business, why it is so much fluctuation, things like that, right? When you claim larger deductions that is not consistent with the industry standard, and you want to put in notes and giving the person who review your return for audit to that information. So you want to make sure you don't know how many times that would save the people from getting audited, because they got this big donation going on, and then the IRS goes, well, they never donate. Now they donate a big time. Why is that? But if you have documented in the tax return saying that there is a capital fundraising drive for this nonprofit, and they want to buy a $6 million building, and they're asking donor to donate more, and we just, a business has support this nonprofit. That's why we donated a lot to answer the capital fundraising goals. So, you do your thing to make sure that people who review your document actually would understand what you're doing. Right? Inaccurate, incomplete documentation, that is a trigger. And the report by whistleblowers, that's a trigger. You hear those famous whistleblowers, and they are the CFOs of the company, and they know the company is doing all kind of shady stuff. They be the whistleblowers, tell the IRS to audit them, and then IRS was able to charge them, and on the tax side collect billions. So those are the whistleblowers, and in the significant position with the company, and know what's wrong, and I consider that's positive. I just think that those whistleblowers are needed so that our economy and the large companies are doing the right thing out there. And our small folks, mama papa shops, and I just think that whoever the employees, and getting used to do these kind of things to the small business owners, I prefer to never met those people personally. All right. So the last sentence on this slide says IRS has a 3-year statutory limitation. I'm just giving a timeline for regular tax audit, right? The best way to avoid the audit, generally speaking, is to really making sure what you submitted to IRS is going to agree with the government record, right? If you say that you got you got a deduction, you bought an electronic car and then get $7,500 tax credit, and you supply the information to the government, but the government somehow couldn't really match the data with the seller. So there you go, and you may not end up you may end up being rolled out for further looked at, and then you ended up being audited, right? And the possible outcome of a tax audit, and that, as long as it's not being referred to criminal investigation, and the worst scenario is you just end up paying taxes, penalty, and interest. It's money. So if things can be resolved by money, it's always no big deal. And I would say that, oh yeah, you made a mistake, so you pay, so you're done. And of course, the other possible outcome is no change. And we really do have clients who get audited and no change, quite a few, because they have done good accounting, and we have represented them in the audit, and they really are just very honest and law-abiding taxpayers, so no change. Of course, in some cases, we have experienced some cases where the taxpayer deserve a more refund back, right? So those are the outcomes of tax audit, but as long as it's not being referred to criminal investigation, it is these three outcome, almost the only outcome, right? How to prepare for the audit? You want to organize your record and keep yourself away from aggressive auditors. If you think this auditor is getting aggressive, and when I say aggressive, I don't mean anything negative. Some auditors just, act like lightning. They just want to get things done, things done, things done. And you listen to their verbiage and you don't even understand what they're talking about. And those auditors may just have that personal characters that they need to work with your professional help. So find professional people to represent you. And respond promptly. One auditor says, I need that in 3 days. Oh, yeah, you give them in 3 days. And if you really cannot get it done in 3 days, pick up the call and beg the auditor to give you extension. When I say beg, I mean to sincerely, politely, kindly ask for extension. That's nothing wrong with that. And I think those government employees, they really deserve some cares from the community members. I mean, their job is not easy. Their job is to finding people makes mistake. Nobody's gonna have a smiling face for someone looking for mistakes. So it is more harsh than you think they are meeting. So if you have a bigger heart and just be nice to the auditors, and they're all humans. They're fathers at home, moms at home, and they're just like you. And we want to deal with everything civilized way. We don't have to be bully to the auditors, and we don't want an auditor to bully you either. So that professional relationships, right? And if you are doing it right, there's nothing to worry. We're going to come through audit making more friends rather than being attacked. State income tax, same thing. The state auditors, they're doing similar things like the IRS audit. And like I told you, when you get an audit from the state, and it typically is an in-person audit, and when you get that audit and the audit finding, oh, you owe $5,000, and I have not seen those results be sent to the federal government. So the federal government say, oh, wow, you owe $5,000 at the state. You owe about $10,000 in the federal because the income has increased. So have not seen that. That's not to say it will not happen. It might happen. But for right now, normally when the federal audit you, and the state reacts, but when state audit you, there's no connection to the federal. Sales tax and use tax is another one. So, I can't believe that I have so many slides. So sales tax, use tax, I'm just gonna move this really quickly. So remember I said to you that you must have the business address as the address, right? So you know what is your real sales tax amount. The ratio is. So understand the sales tax and use tax is regulated by the state. So you want to know the state rules, and don't think that, oh, you have a business in Iowa, then you go to Minnesota, it's all the same as not. So you need to understand what those sales tax rules are. Make sure you keep a good record on that. And sales tax prevention, if you're a restaurant, you keep a POS system, just make sure you don't do odd things with the system, right? Sometimes, when I remember one of the POS system, one of the restaurant, the owner don't know how to turn off the POS system, how to restart the POS system when it had, say, internet is gone, and then they have to reestablish the POS. So they don't know how to reestablish. So there's several times for 1 month, there's 10 days, there's no POS record saved because they didn't establish internet connection. So you want to make sure that you really take care of your record. You want to make sure that every record is in the POS system is being kept, right? All right. Financial statement audit. This is the one that if you're not a public company, like just our small business owners, it is the audit that only would happen and when you have certain need. For example, if you borrow a lot of money from the bank, they may ask you for an audited financial statement. But until they ask you, you don't have to audit your financial statement. Audit financial statement, it just means that the auditor, the independent auditor, like us, like community CPA employees, we come to the business and we are independent auditors. So even though we charge you, but we're not going to be on your side per se, because we are independent to look at your booking record to say whether it's done properly or not. Then we submit the report to the people who want it. A nonprofit does that a lot, right? So these are the financial statement audit, and it has a whole set of rules, and I won't go in great detail because I know I'm kind of running out of time with you. And the benefit of the financial statement audit, if you really did a financial statement audit, it is almost like your passport, where you can use that statement to do a lot of things. You can look for buyers, and you can look for loans, and then you can look for investors, or you can even use that to sell your business. So it has become a document that voice how good you are without you speaking the word. So that's why there are times we have private business ask us to do audit, and also business who are going through IPO, initial public offering process, and they would need audits, so we will do financial statement audit. There's a lot of benefit for doing financial statement audit. All right, so here I listed the tax audit, financial statement audit, the same or not same. So we kind of covered that already. But what I want to show you right here is that the conclusion itself that I would offer you in terms of understanding all of these audit in our system, right? So it is not something the current Trump administration created. It is the rules, regulations that has already been here before his time. It has been developed all these years through the history of the United States of America. And some government enforce that more thoroughly. Some do not enforce that due to different reasons. So with that said, there is no right or wrong. It's just for our small business owners, we just need you to understand is there, and you could be subject to it. At the same time, we want you to be really aware of your environment. The business environment is not good for small businesses today. It is not. Okay? And inflation is there, layoffs everywhere, supply chain broken, and audit all over the place, because if the state doesn't get money from federal government, the state has a business to run. What do? What state government would do to get their money to run their government if the federal government cut them off? Of course, it's the businesses that in the state. And hopefully you pay more sales tax. Hopefully you pay more property tax. Hopefully you pay more income tax. So audit would come. That's just very, very simple. And even small business owners are even facing jail sentences. I say that with proofs. I'm not making a threatening statement. And we have clients we know and go to jail for harboring illegal immigrants. Understand what is harboring? Harboring means you hide, and you try to hide them. It's no different from somebody killed someone. That killer ran into your house and you hide them. So the government cannot, the police cannot catch them. So that is the jail sentence. And in Texas, Ave Bakery, the owner was charged 10 years prison sentence for harboring illegal immigrant to work at the bakery store. Their penalty for tax side of things was $250,000, but the jail sentence was 10 years. So with that said, I want to say that the business environment is not good. But that doesn't mean everybody will be Ave Bakery. And if you have done the correct things, then there is no worry, right? You don't have anything to be concerned about. And do it right. Do not give reasons for any government to come to your door and comprehend you. If you did not get audited, okay, then you need to know that you're lucky and prepare everything right now. And if you get audited, retain the strongest person who can represent you to safeguard your freedom, your human rights, and your money and asset. Of course, if you're criminals and just doing everything wrong, trading drugs under the table, I I believe you're not even someone I know. But the people I know, the clients we represent, are the hardworking people who are making a living with their business. And everyone deserves to do it right, to keep your freedom, and keep your human right untouched, and your money assets safe. All right, so desire to know more. These are our partners. So I'm listed right on the top there, and you can book my time. And yes, there is a fee for it, but we are here to support you. And you can book Dan Kim's time. He has a free discovery calls there, so you don't have to pay a fee, and you can discover what we do, how we do things through Kim, through Dan. His last name is Kim. Derek is for IT side of things. If your POS doesn't work and your internet just breaks all the time, and you try to call the service provider, they just don't show up, and you don't know whether that is a reason or not, or they showed up, tell you nothing wrong with my service that I provide to you is your problem. And then we have IT people here in our firm. Dr. Howe, expert in contract, government audit, special programs that you can look into him to help you to resolve immigration. Okay, Sang Mo and tax strategies. And if you have not experienced what he has done for our clients, you're missing out. And he also speaks Spanish. All right, Kwan, the last but not the least, and she is the accounting payroll gurus in our firm. Even this morning I had a client and happened to see me, and what come out of her mouth is that, Ying, you know Kwan? Yes, I do. And she's amazing. Of course she is. That's how our clients see the partners. All right. What about Catherine? You remember, if you have any questions, you don't want to make it public on YouTube chat page, and you can come to Catherine at Community CPA. Just let her know what you desire, and we'll go from there. Our firm opens Monday to Saturday, 6 days a week. You just call us between 8:30 to 5:30, and we're there. I will see you again on Tuesday, folks, and do a good business out there. Know that we're here for you.